Hello everyone, this is Clossi, and welcome to our Beginner Life and Death video, episode 5. In this video, we are going to talk about how many liberties do your stones have and capturing races. Now, A is a perfect example of the stereotypical capturing race. Whoever plays first will win the capturing race. So if you want to, you can go ahead and try and solve all these and just tell you what is the status of all these groups, A, B, C, and D. What is the status? But we are going to go over it one by one and talk about what the status is, what we can learn from them, and how they're important, and then how to utilize these in much more difficult problems. All right, so first let's talk about A. A, as I said, is the most basic example of a capturing race because whoever plays first will win the race. What I mean by this is here white has 3 liberties and black has 3 liberties, so it's 3 to 3. So if black plays, then white plays, then black plays, then white plays, then black plays, white will capture the 3 white stones. And vice versa, if white plays first, then white will get the stones. So this means whoever plays first gets the group. Therefore, capturing race. It's a race to get the capture. So in a same versus same, the capturing race is pretty easy to count. But what happens when you get to more difficult situations? For example, B. 4 liberties to 4 liberties, but this one's a little bit different. And that is because of the eye in the corner. So for example, I can go simply here, play the throw in, and make my eye in the corner. Here, black may be able to make a seki. In addition, what happens if I play here? Well, now black has to play here, and we can see that it gets very complicated, and not everyone can read all this. And this is a simple example of how everything can get super complicated very quickly when you throw in things like eyes or approach moves or something like that. So in this case, if black plays first, it is a seki because white can throw in, and if black plays here, then we just continue the throw in and play the throw in. And this is going to be eye versus no eye, which is dead. Eye versus no eye, usually it's in favor of the one with the eye. So in this one, we have to watch out for the eyes. The eyes can change the result, and the eyes matter greatly for the amount of liberties you have. So here, if black plays, it is a seki. Now let's see what happens if white plays. If white plays, it looks like a one-step ko. And what I mean by one step is here, if I play here, and then black plays away, or let's say black plays and white plays away, black has to play on the inside first in order to take that liberty, and then white gets to play here. So black needs one more ko threat than white. So that's what I mean by one-step ko. You have to take one step before you can start fighting the ko to capture. All right, so what happens if I play here? Well, then white simply takes the eye. So in this case, what's the difference? The difference is being in the corner versus being on the side. In the corner, white can play T18 and make an eye. But here, if I play that same shape, I do not make an eye. So it's much, much different. Therefore, it's a ko if white plays first and a seki if black plays first. And that is the status you need to know and be able to read. So here, the important thing to learn was the eye in the corner can greatly affect this situation. So eyes can change results very quickly. Now let's look at C. C is very interesting as well because not only do you have a lot of liberties to count and a lot of moves to read, but you also have an approach move. An approach move means that white must first play here and then play here. So white must first play one move that is not a liberty in order to approach taking black's liberties. So that's an approach move. So first I connect and then I take the liberty. So here there's one approach move. And an approach move you should count as an extra liberty. In other words, you can count the liberties as they are, but you have to add +1 for that one approach move. And the reason this is an approach move is because there's an eye on the inside. So in other words, you can't take the eye on the inside until all the liberties on the outside are filled. Because remember, playing an eye is an illegal move unless all the outside liberties are filled. With that in mind, we need to know how many liberties C has. So for example, if black plays, and then white plays, and then black, white captures, black, white, black, white, black, it looks like black easily wins the capturing race. But what if white plays first? This is a situation where you need to know how many liberties you have exactly, because in this case, if white's already dead, I want a tanuki, and you need to check that because sometimes tanuki or playing somewhere else can be very, very big and very, very important. So you always want a tanuki as soon as you can. But in order to do that, we have to see how many liberties these two groups have, and to do that, we need to see how many moves it'll take to capture them. So first, let's see black 1. Don't count the center moves. 2, 3, 4. So it looks like it'll take 4 moves to capture. So that means white has 4 liberties. Now let's see how many black has. So first, let's pass. 1, 2, Atari, 3, Atari, 4, 5. So it looks like it's 4 to 5. So if it's 4 to 5, that means even if white plays first, I should be alive. So if I counted correctly, that means I can ignore ones and white will not be able to kill me. So let's say I ignore ones. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. All right. So black does win the capturing race. And I did this because I'm able to count liberties. So it's what we should learn here is counting liberties is very, very important. We always need to know how the capturing race is going to play out, and we need to do so very, very quickly and very many moves in advance. So in order to do this in your reading, first you need to see how many moves what does it take outside the eye, and then add it to the moves it takes inside the eye. So in other words, we need to count how many liberties does black have inside for the eye, and how many liberties does black have on the outside. And then we also have to find the proper order to play, because like we saw on the top right, if we play in the wrong order or if we play the wrong move, then we might lose the capturing race or we might change the result. So it's also important to count the liberties in one variation, check a different move and count the liberties, and see what is the best and most effective way to gain liberties. Once you understand how many liberties you have at the max, then you can truly understand how this situation plays out. So do not underestimate capturing races, because capturing races can be very, very important in a situation. In addition to this, if you can get good at capturing races, then it will become very easy to see bigger and bigger capturing races, and where it might not be so obvious, because you can break it up into chunks and then count those individual chunks and then add it all together. So counting liberties and a capturing race is very important. Now remember in our first video how I said counting liberties is important. Don't mix it up or don't forget about it. Well, here is another example where counting liberties is very important. And I actually want you to take the time in your games to actually count them out. Don't just assume you have this certain amount, or don't assume this one path. Actually take the time to count how many moves it takes to actually capture your group. This is vital, and it should not be skipped. You should instead get very good at it so you can do it very quickly, but this step should not be skipped or glossed over, and you shouldn't just capture a group because you're worried. You should never, ever, ever play a move just because you're worried about it. You should read it and check it thoroughly before playing and wasting an entire move to defend it, because if you are wrong, that means you just wasted an entire move. An entire move is extremely valuable. So make sure in capturing races you are actually counting them out and finding the best moves and seeing what the actual liberty count is. Alright, with that in mind, let's move on to D. D is a little bit tricky because it looks like white should just have black dead, right? So let's just check. 3 liberties to 4 liberties. So if black plays, well, first off, let's see if white plays. If white plays, then it looks like black is dead. No matter what black does, there's nothing black can do. No way to actually capture these stones, right? Because that's self-Atari, so no way for black to win this capture race. So if white plays first, black is going to die. Now the question is, what happens if black plays first? For example, here I can make an eye, right? So here's an eye right here. So what happens if I play right here? If I take white's liberty? Well, first off, white might try to throw in order to reduce my liberties. And then black plays. And then if white tries to make an eye, white will die. So white must play right here. And here, black can Atari. So for example, what happens if I simply play throw in, black takes, I play, black plays, and then white takes? This is a ko. Now we got to check if white doesn't throw in. If white just simply plays here, black, white, black, white, black. If white doesn't play the throw into Tsuji in order to reduce a liberty, then white will actually lose the capturing race and just die. So in this case, white must throw in, and then play here, and it is a ko. One last thing to check is if black extends and then plays another throw in, but in this case, white simply extends and plays a throw into Tsuji, and black will die. So black must capture here in order to make it one eye versus no eyes, and because black has one eye, even though black had less liberties, the eye versus no eye made it a ko. So remember, eyes can change the results. Be very wary of eyes. So here, after we play this, we can see black has 2 liberties, and in order to start the ko, white must play here, which makes white also have 2 liberties, so now it is a ko. So this left side is a ko. So you can see many different results can happen in a capturing race. Many different types of capturing races can lead to many different types of situations. So it's very important to understand these and practice these, especially when they come up in your games, in order to have a better understanding of how to take liberties and how to gain liberties properly. Never underestimate liberty gaining Tsujis and liberty stealing Tsujis. Never underestimate having liberties. Liberties are very important, and this is in addition to having good shape, or having good shape will help you make eyes and help you have lots of liberties. So remember how we know that the empty triangle is a bad shape? For example, like so. An empty triangle is a bad shape because it has bad liberties. We can see that actually inside of here. On the left side, you can see there's an empty triangle for black. If black didn't have that empty triangle, for example, it feels like this, then black might be able to just win the capturing race if he played first. Instead, black made it a ko because of that empty triangle. So empty triangles can actually hurt you in a capturing race. Therefore, bad shapes can also hurt you in lack of liberties, lack of eyes, all kinds of things. So shapes are important in addition to, or this is why shapes are important, sorry. This is why shapes are important, is because these life and death problems, these capturing race problems, these Tsuji problems, they were more likely to come up as a problem with your position if you have bad shapes. So bad shapes can lead to bad things. Be careful with your shapes. And so, in conclusion with this, we need to know how many liberties are in a capturing race and what shapes, what possibilities can come out in capturing races and what to look for. So these are the most basic examples of what to look for in a capturing race. But don't go away just yet. We still have one more thing to look at, and that is this example. In this example, these are some common shapes that you'll see in a game. And we need to know exactly how many liberties these shapes have. It'll make it much easier to count liberties much more quickly when we're on a clock. So these are common shapes, and we want to know how many liberties these eye shapes have if white plays first. What I mean by this is, yes, you might not always be completely surrounded, but if you can know the amount of liberties on the inside, or know the amount of liberties for the eye, then it'll become that much easier to count liberties later. So go ahead and start with A, and then go to B, and then go all the way to F. Don't worry about G just yet. Just go A to F and see how many liberties black has if white plays first. And I want you to remember these liberties because these results are important, and I want you to memorize them. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the solution. So in this case, if white plays first for A, you can see that white only has to play 1, and even if black captures, it's self-tari. So at best, black has 2 liberties, because if black ignores, white takes. So here, black has 2 liberties at best. So 2 in a row is 2 liberties. That will not change. 3 in a row is 1, 2, and even if you capture, 2, 3. So 3 in a row is 3 liberties. So these are simple enough. 2 in a row is 2 liberties, 3 in a row is 3 liberties. All right, now what about bent 3? Bent 3 is 1. Oh, let me change this for just a second, because this is actually an Atari, isn't it? So if we change this, my apologies about that. And now white plays 1, 2, 3. And even if we capture, 2, 3. So you can see here, the bent 3 shape is actually 3 liberties as well. And in this shape, if there's an Atari, it's only 2 liberties. 1, 2. Because we don't want to solve Atari. So what we can learn from this shape is actually this white stone. If it is a simple bent 3 shape, like so, then this is 3 liberties. If not, and white plays here, and you have this cut, then it's actually only 2 liberties. So watch the or the Ataris on the inside. The Ataris on the inside can be important. So 2 in a row is 2, 3 in a row is 3, bent 3 is also 3 unless there's a cutting point. All right, what about 4? What about 4? So if we play 4, 1, 2. Oh, that's a 3. 3 is 3, right? So this is already 3 plus 2, so that should be 5. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was 5. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so black gets to Tanuki 5 times. This means that 4, a box 4, is 5 liberties. So now we can start to see that bigger eyes have more and more liberties. So what about a bulky 5? All right, so 1, 2, 3, Atari, 4, 5, Atari, and that's 3, so should be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that should be 8 liberties. So let's double check. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see a bulky 5 has 8 liberties. Now notice what I'm doing. As soon as I get it down to this shape, I'm able to just add 3 because I know this 3 in a row, when white plays first, is 3 liberties. Therefore, I just added 3. Now you can do this with the bigger shapes too. For example, if it gets reduced down to 5, and you can see that white plays first, well, 8 minus 1 is 7. So that means this shape is 7 liberties at least. And without the white stone, you can say that is going to be 8 liberties if white plays first, or it can live. So if white plays first, then you can say 8 minus 1, that is 7 liberties as it stands. So I know if there's a white group on the outside that has 7 liberties or less, and I play first, I can win that capturing race. So that is important to know, and you can easily just glance at it and say this is how many it is if you memorize the shape. All right, now we get to the tricky corner. Box 6 in the corner. Box 6 in the corner is dead. However, how many liberties does it have? So, for example, if I play here, and you can see I can't play here, so I have to play here. That's 3. So I can just nuke it 3 times. What happens if I play something else? So 1, 2, 3. So it looks like 3 again. And that's the first one. What happens if I Tanuki? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 liberties. So that means if white plays first, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 liberties. So you can actually just, looks like just 4. Straight up 4. But let's see what happens if I play something else. I play here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, Atari. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be 7 liberties. So it looks like 6 might be 7. Ah, but what if white plays here? Aha. Well, now, if I Tanuki, 2 liberties or ko. That's even less than we had before. And if I simply try and go down, 3 liberties. So sometimes the situation can change if you play a strange move. So what we can learn from this is it looks like at worst white has 4 liberties if we just ignore it as it is. However, what happens if we change the different moves on the inside? For example, this one, yes, is the normal move to try to live. That's the first instinct for trying to live. But we don't live and we don't make 2 eyes. So why play it? Why play that move if it doesn't gain you enough eyes? Instead, a move like this may gain you more liberties and it may help the outside situation more. So sometimes a move that doesn't help you make eyes might help you gain liberties. And this can be very important in a capturing race. However, it is also important to see if white can counter you or not. And that's why I said this corner is going to be very tricky. So at worst, it is 4 liberties. But maybe you can gain a co for even more liberties. And a co here would be a co for your life. And if white chooses not to play the co, then you have, how many do we say we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 7 liberties if white chooses to avoid the co. That's much more than 4. So for example, if there's a capturing race, I may ask my opponent how many liberties he's going to let me have before I start the capturing race. So if he goes here, then I can start that capturing race because now I have 7 liberties. But here, if I just leave it, I have 4 liberties. So liberties can change depending on certain moves, and that's what we can learn from this corner. This corner is quite complicated, and that's why I don't have this one memorized. But bulky 5 is 8, box 4 is 5, 3 is 3, 3 is 3, 2 is 2, and of course 1 is 1. So these are shapes I want you to memorize, and I want you to just know by heart. So try to replay these shapes and recount them as many times as you need to until you can memorize them. The bottom left will be difficult and may change on the situation, but the entire right half of the board should be memorized. It should be just obvious to you how many liberties they have. Now, once you have that memorized, once you have that down, go ahead and try to solve G. Go ahead and say white plays first to try and kill black. How many liberties or how many moves will it take for white to capture this black group? How many liberties does black have? Go ahead and pause the video and try to solve it now. All right, hopefully you were able to solve that. So let's see if you were right. So here we have to first play a white stone. So 1, and then we have an approach move. 2, because it's an I. 3, capture. And this is 8, so that should be 3 plus 8. So it should be 11 liberties, right? So let's try find out. So we have 1. Oh, sorry, this is an Atari. It's not 3. This is 2. So it should be 10. This should be 10 liberties. So approach is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm at 6. Sorry, I'm off by 1. I'm doing terrible. So it's 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's 10. Okay. Let me go back just to double check what I'm doing. All right, so we played 1 to take the eye, so that's 1. 2 was the approach move. That's where I lost count. See, I counted correctly, but my eyes actually play tricks on me, probably because I'm recording a video while I'm trying to do it. But 1 move to take the liberty or take the eye, 2 move for the approach. This is the Atari, and so we have 2 moves plus 8, and that should be 10 liberties. So if you're playing in a game, or you're trying to read in a game, and you're not recording a video, you should be able to count this pretty accurately, pretty quickly, because you can just say, how many liberties do I have on the outside? Well, I have 2, because the Atari doesn't count as 1, right? So I have 2 liberties and a bulky 5 on the inside. So that is 8. So 2 plus 8 is 10. So hopefully you were able to count this one pretty quickly. And if not, go ahead and keep practicing this video. There is a little bit of complications in several shapes, and the capturing races can get very difficult very quickly, but hopefully I helped you learn some more stuff about capturing races. Hopefully this will help you understand capturing races a little bit better. I'm not saying this is going to teach you every situation. I'm not saying this is perfect. I'm just trying to help you out in order to help you in your own games to understand capturing races just a little bit better. And remember, in capturing races, count the liberties, count the liberties, count the liberties. It's very, very important. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button. If you would like to support the creation of more videos as well as get access to early releases, then head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/Clossi. And if you want more Go content, then go to my website, seansgogroup.com. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys